Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. The MLB at Field of Dreams returns. Bryce Harper and the Philadelphia Phillies face Byron Buxton and the Minnesota Twins at the iconic Field of Dreams ballpark. The field is calling. Watch the MLB at Field of Dreams game live on Netflix Thursday, August 13th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific.
Welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast with Kevin and Chuck. Today we're going to talk root cellars, otherwise known as a hole in the ground. I mean, how hard could it be, right? You just dig a hole?
Yeah, that's a root cellar.
That's a root cellar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's a
yes,
little
yes
more to
and
that.
no. There's some gray areas there. Basically, root cellars are, before refrigeration, they get the name root cellar is because it's where you store your root vegetables. You could also say it's underground, kind of like roots are underground.
I get what you're doing there.
See what I did there? Yep. That's, so the idea is people are like, well, to get the perfect temperature, constant ground temperature, you actually need to dig 10 feet down.
Right.
And that's deep.
It's
10 feet,
deep.
you're working that shovel.
Mm-hmm.
And if you decide to do that after the apocalypse, you
It's a lot of
probably
work.
don't have heavy machines. But what else are you going to do with your time, right? I mean, sure, you're maybe hunting, gathering food,
You've got all your
fighting
stuff
off
prepped
people,
already.
but you're already prepped, right?
Mm-hmm. You're good. You
When
got
we have freeze-dried
years.
food, we don't even need roots, right?
Mhm. Now, the idea is you want to keep it at a constant temperature,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that
So-
sounds right.
You want to keep the humidity down to a minimum. And you want to have at least 3 sides encased by the ground. You could hypothetically do it in your basement, but
Yes.
that's not ideal.
I have some recommendations of what you could do if you did do it in your basement.
All right?
But you're right. Another thing to think about is a root cellar. You're like, oh, well, it's hot out and whatever, and how am I going to keep it when I can't dig 10 feet and whatever? Before you get excited and worked up, realize you're really only storing things in a root cellar in the winter months, kind of. I mean, it's meant to prolong your harvest.
Right.
So you gather your harvest at the end of the season, and the idea is to keep those vegetables going so they're still, good well into season when you're not growing.
Mm-hmm.
So that should give you a little peace of mind that, hey, we can make this work.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of ways to do it. Now, Kevin just mentioned that maybe you do a basement root cellar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if a root cellar is attached to the house, like for easy access, the best method is to use the foundation walls on the northeast corner as the 2 sides of the root cellar. Build the other 2 walls with stud and board, and then insulate it to kind of keep that cold.
Right. You want to store that. You want to keep that temperature in. Keep that cold in.
And you can use like pipes and ducts to keep the heat out, right? So what I'm talking about there is you can have vent pipes that go in and out. So it'll draw in the cold air and then let out the room. Now you're like, well, how can I do that? Is that magic? Well, it kind of is, and I don't really know. But one, if you're in the modern world, you can set up a fan to actually draw in the
blow
air
out
from
the
the
top,
outside.
blow in the bottom.
Or vice versa. You could put the fan at the top. That would work. You guys might know about solar and you could work out a little, a little solar fan wouldn't be that hard to, work out.
Nope.
That's not, the end of the world. So the idea would be you bring in some cold air at night.
Right.
And blow out the warm air. Mm-hmm. And then, that cold air is going to stay, throughout the daytime and kind of balance out. And depending how well you insulate it, that, should work out. So that's how you would go about it with the basement. Mm-hmm. But, there's...
You do a lot better, though, building it...
In the ground.
In the ground, yeah. And surrounded on 4 sides.
So what else you got? Like... There's the simple, man, where you could just do like a garbage can. Mm-hmm. People do that where, during the winter, use like a metal garbage can or 55-gallon drum. You dig the hole, just dig a hole bigger than the can, drop it in, big enough, so you can get the lid with about 4 inches would be enough, at the top. Then what you would do is heap earth around, the circumference, add straw inside the can, then the crops, then straw again, and then cover with the lid, then straw or plastic sheeting on top of that.
Yeah.
And then your 4 inches.
Right.
And something like that is enough to keep your root vegetables, going throughout the winter. That's a minimum.
Yeah.
That's when you're digging the hole after the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. That's what you do.
Right. Now, a big part of this is when you're storing it, you want to be below the frost line. Mm-hmm. Now, the frost line is typically about 4 inches where we're at. It can be a lot deeper the further north you go. You don't want your vegetables freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing.
I think we do water lines at 36 inches.
36 inches, right.
Is where we do a water line that we know is not going to freeze.
Right.
So,
yeah.
4 inches sounds a little risky to me.
Yeah, we've had some cold weathers where it's gotten down to 22 inches, I think, is the deepest I've ever seen it.
Okay.
And
so 36 is that safe cushion?
That's safe. Safe.
That's like Chuck, who's paranoid, and when I do my meat butchering and stuff, I try and do 4 hours from 40 to 140, from raw to cooked.
Right.
I keep my window short, 4 hours. That's the same thing here where, you keep that 36, you got it.
Right.
And you're saying, usually 22 is about the...
I think it's the deepest
for where
I've ever
we
seen
are,
it.
and we're up north,
right.
pretty far. You're down in Tennessee or something. It's not going to be as deep.
Right.
And
generally you're storing the vegetables. The only reason I mention this is generally you're storing the vegetables over the winter.
Right.
So, I mean, your vegetables freezing and unfreezing, not a good look,
That's the thing. They say, if your winter temperatures drop below 25, which we definitely way below that, but they usually recommend just, make sure that it's below the soil surface, which is that 4 inches you're talking about.
Right.
And that should maintain. Mm-hmm. But again, we definitely have winters here where we'll be -5 for 8 days in a row, 9 days in a row. And I get all these calls that, all my water pipes are freezing and, whatever.
Yep.
But, you have to base it kind of on where you live and your location. Mm-hmm. There's other ways we can do a root cellar. There's different ways where you can kind of dig it yourself and do that. Basically, I mean, this is, a lot easier if you have some kind of machine or you can rent or, maybe you have your own backhoe or, a nice tractor with a bucket, that kind of thing. Or maybe you have some strong kids who like to use picks and shovels, So you would dig down in the ground and you basically dig a hole, and it really can be whatever size you're going to need to store stuff. Obviously, the deeper, the better. We talked about you're going to maintain that constant temperature. If once you get below like the 20 inches, it depends where you are, know. I mean, I know I said 10 feet, and that's for true, true never change. But you can pretty much maintain in the winter. If you're below that 22, you're going to stay pretty decent. So you dig down in the ground. A lot of people will actually like build a shed or the house kind of thing over top of it.
Right. It makes that roof a lot easier.
And do a trap door, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You always see, like when you see the guys do the log cabin in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
they always have the trap door in the floor to the root cellar kind of planned out.
Right.
But those guys, they always seem to be like in Alaska or some cold climate whenever
Mm-hmm.
I see that. But
Yeah.
you know, that's pretty sweet right there where you
Mhm.
just open up the floor. You don't got to go out digging in the snow or.
Mm-hmm.
you
Right,
know.
right. You don't want to be in and out of the house if you can help it.
So putting a hut over top of your root cellar, definitely not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're building your small one-room cabin, you know, your secret getaway, your off-grid location,
Right.
a root cellar like that underneath is not a bad way to go. There's lots of stuff online. You can check that out, you know, for people who've done that. But the other option, you could dig into the side of a hill.
Mm-hmm.
That makes excavating a lot easier. And, like, I mean, I dug a pond a couple of years back. I don't know if you guys remember, but one of the things I talked about is I went to, like, the lowest section kind of thing. I dug the hole, but I dug everything I dug out. I built up a giant wall on the backside,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right.
so that it evened out. So everything I'm digging, I'm adding
Adding
to the height. So you're
right.
doubling what you're getting. And that's what you should be doing with the root cellar. You know,
Mhm.
whatever you're digging out of it is going to be what you're mounting on top of it or building up the sides with.
Right.
We talked about doing sod roofs.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad way to go. You can cut, 4-inch sod up there. And if you work it with ventilation, that's going to work pretty good. It's always going to be cool in the summer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to be the cold in the winter. And you could really bring in the cold and store your vegetables, long term that way.
Right. Now, a lot of people like to do the cinder block walls.
Yeah. It's
I don't have any problem with that. You want to set footings for that, though. And you want to make sure your walls aren't going to buckle under the weight of their...
Now, it depends on your climate. Obviously, I agree with what Kevin's saying about, you want a foundation kind of
Mhm.
thing. But just the same, especially if you're in an area where the ground freezes.
Mhm.
And that's going to, cause it to heave and shift and
Right.
and things like that. In the South, you can get away with a little more. You always see the shacks when you go down in the South and you see people just kind of right on the ground, whatever. But that's because the ground's never freezing solid.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a different world. But anytime you have a real solid foundation, it's going to be better. You could also use like piling up rocks and cinder block like Kevin was saying, but then you still want to surround it by sod around the outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could even do like hay and then sod and that kind of stuff. You can bulk it out with other stuff, but the thicker, the denser the material, the more it's going to do, for insulation. But again, straw, works for insulation.
Mhm.
That air kind of holds.
Right,
if
right.
it's
Air
not
is the best
moving.
insulator. Now, one thing that I want to point out real quick, a lot of guys I've seen have done this where they bury the Connex boxes.
Yeah,
Not a smart move.
really.
Those walls are not designed for the
The
vertical,
roof can't
the
hold
horizontal
dirt
pressure.
is the big thing.
The
right.
sides cave in.
Oh, also.
Yeah, because
okay.
it's designed for pressure on top and on the bottom, but not for
It's
for
not even
horizontal
that.
pressure.
It's designed for pressure on the frame,
right.
and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you throw a bunch of dirt on the roof, it's going to collapse.
Mm-hmm.
You cave in a lot of dirt on the sides, it's going to collapse. And you don't realize how much pressure there is there.
Right.
It's significant, Another thing is to consider drainage and where you are, and is it going to flood your
Mhm.
root cellar.
Yeah.
Just be aware, use common sense about, you build it up on a hill, you're going to be all right if you got the roof that's going to divert it.
Yep.
That kind of thing. But yeah, if you're in the giant valley and you haven't built up a roof that's higher
Mm-hmm.
and around it and a tunnel, around the outside to divert it,
Right. You're
you
gonna have
could
a hard
end up
time.
with a real problem.
Yeah, when I first moved into my house, every time we had a heavy rain, it would flood out,
Mhm.
and it was just the lay of the land, everything's sloping the wrong way. I ended up, I tried all sorts of stuff, and none of it really worked until I actually paid a guy with a bulldozer to regrade my entire yard.
Turns out that
cost $1,000, but man, that was problem solved after that.
Yeah, see, I'd be out there for 2 summers with a freaking shovel, and I would actually lose my earning potential of about $8,000.
Right.
And I'd be like, yeah, I saved that $1,000. I'm so smart. All right, so now that we've kind of figured out what and how a root cellar is, let's talk a little bit about what to do inside. Like, how do we set it up?
All right.
There's a couple of different options. The one thing, you're going to want to build a shelving system. Now, the shelves should be made out of wood. What happens there is wood doesn't conduct, it doesn't transfer the temperature like metal shelves do. So that can be a big thing. It basically doesn't conduct heat or cold, as rapidly like metal shelves. So you'll get like freezer burn or things. It'll keep it all more consistent. Air circulation is critical for minimizing like airborne mold, that kind of stuff. You always see the potatoes and they get all nasty. And, when they're not stored. I know my mom, when I was a kid, used to have like the wood potato box.
Yeah, I remember those.
And it was always filled with moldy, nasty potatoes. No, it could be because she used them once every 2 years because she didn't know how to cook.
Right.
There might be that, but I don't know. So circulation is huge. The shelves should be like 1 to 3 inches away from the walls. Because that'll actually, you need that airflow in between again.
Right. It needs to breathe a little bit there.
Packed earth is actually the preferred flooring for a root cellar. Concrete works good and is practical, but believe it or not, the earth actually helps dissipate the humidity and even keep things even. Every root cellar should have like a thermometer and a hydrometer. Just kind of keep an eye on things and really even almost check daily, just to make sure things aren't getting away from you. But you basically, and then heat is usually regulated, like I was mentioning, how you can work out exhaust, where you can kind of set up a fan with the cold. And actually, the different air temperatures, just opening and closing a flap at night will draw in, the cold air. It's just that a fan could make it better. That's why I was saying, it might be nice. Also, like, think about where you place the produce. The driest, warmest air is closer to the ceiling. The more humid air is going to be lower or farthest away from the door and lower to the ground. Different, crops will want different, preferences. So, like, how do we go about storing, like, the crops? Like, what vegetables do good in a root cellar, or what are we doing there?
Yeah, well,
or am I asking the wrong question?
No, that's right. That's right. Let's talk about vegetables first. Let's talk about fruits and vegetables. All right, so apples will store 2 to 7 months, depending on what type of apple you use.
Okay.
So, I mean, storing an apple for 7 months is pretty impressive if you can do that. You want to start with the tart apples, not the sweeter ones. The sweeter ones will go bad first.
Okay.
Beets are really good. They'll last 3 to 5 months in a root cellar. Broccoli's only going to last about 1 to 2 weeks. I mean, that's just, broccoli just doesn't have that great of a shelf life. 3 to 5 weeks with Brussels sprouts. Cabbage will last 3 to 5 weeks. Carrots, you can actually store them in the ground where you grow them.
Really?
Yeah, if you're buying them from the store, they'll last 4 to 6 months in your root cellar. But if you're growing your own, if you're growing your own carrots, you can just leave them in the ground and dig them out of the ground when you want them.
That's assuming you can chisel through the ice and the snow.
And get to it, right? Squash is 4 to 6 months. Onion, 5 to 8 months. Garlic is really good, 5 to 8 months on garlic. Dried beans, you can basically keep them forever. A year is appropriate. time, but I think that's really just because, I mean, how long are you going to keep those beans?
I think what they do, like they say, if you're going to store beans forever, you know, you want them to be like your 25-year freeze dried, you know, long term storage. What you can do is they have those Mylar bags. And you actually want to put them in there. That keeps the humidity and stuff from changing, and it prevents new oxygen from getting into it. If you basically put it in the Mylar bags, then drop it in a 5-gallon bucket with a lid and close it up, then I would say your beans are going to last.
Your beans are good, yeah. It's probably just storing them open in your root cellar is probably not the best way you can go about it.
If you're trying to get through a season for beans, you're going to be good.
Yep. Radish is 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Now, we talked about beets. Radish and turnips, they're about the same to me. I'm not interested. I've eaten, you know, a lot of awful shit. When you get hungry enough, you know, dog doesn't taste that bad. The same thing with radishes. I'd have to be starving.
So you're saying dog and radishes are right?
About equivalent.
Turnips
are 4 to 6 months to last in your root cellar.
All right.
Same with potatoes. So I think you're getting here pears actually 2 to 3 months.
I wouldn't have thought with all that sugar. Yeah.
Right. But you know, your best bets are the root vegetables. You know, the potatoes, the carrots, you know, the beets and the turnips. You know, those are really the things that will do the best. It's just that most of them taste awful, you know. Now,
I like French fries.
Hey, nobody's.
But then again, you cook anything in fat, and you might get me excited. I
have to say that I'm a very healthy eater. You know, I stay away from sugar. You know, I don't drink Kool-Aid and stuff like that. I don't eat candy. But man, French fries, that's my weakness.
French fries are everybody's weakness.
I just can't help it.
They said some documentary I heard about McDonald's. They were like, you know, people come in, whatever, but everybody leaves with French fries.
Everybody likes the French fries.
And I think one of the secrets I heard is they used to, they couldn't do, whoever was selling them the oil couldn't afford like homogenized vegetable oil or whatever, I don't know. And so they would actually cook it with a little beef fat. And that's supposed to be the key to McDonald's French fries.
Right.
With the oil has a little beef fat in it. And just gives it that little something more. But you know, I got to say, McDonald's French fries are not what they used to be 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, something's changed there.
Something's changed. I really actually can go without them. I'm good now. But it used to be, they were the dream. You know, and then... I don't know. But French fries, you know, I grew up in Canada a little bit as a kid. And
the vinegar.
The vinegar and, you know, salt.
Mayonnaise was the jam up there,
you
too.
Know?
I could never get into the mayonnaise.
It's, you know, it's a different world.
I feel bad for the Canadians, though.
People with the tartar sauce, whatever they got to do with the vinegar.
Fancy sauce.
Man, I think we got off topic there a little bit.
Sorry.
Now, one of the things, too, with the root vegetables...
wait, one more thing about potatoes.
Oh, we're back on French fries?
I'm not done with potatoes.
All right.
Now, potatoes...
go better with bacon and onion, and you chop them up nice.
Believe it or not, that you can survive. You can't survive on rabbit forever. You'll starve to death. But potatoes, you can eat potatoes forever.
Forever.
Right. And if you're only your diet is only consists of potatoes, you're going to survive.
Now,
you'll make it.
I was actually listening to a prepper book, an audiobook, whatever, and they were talking about that once, like, you know, everybody eats when they're starving, and, you know, 3 weeks into the apocalypse, everybody's run out of food. You got to remember to save your potatoes.
Yeah.
You need those to start over. And potatoes are huge for feeding a lot of people. If you eat them all, that's it. They're gone. You don't have any seeds or anything.
Right. Potatoes basically are a seed. All you got to do is bury them, and you got more potatoes.
And you got more potatoes. And you can cut one potato up. Anything with an I is new potatoes.
Right.
And potatoes, not even potato.
Right.
So and that's each eye. You can cut one potato, get like 10 plants, or 6 or 7 anyway. And so I'm just saying, in the apocalypse, don't forget to save your potatoes.
But French fries are so good.
When people are like, oh God, I got to go to the grocery store and I'm buying all the canned food, you go over to the potatoes.
Right.
And grab yourself a sack, because that's how you're going to survive the apocalypse.
Amen, brother.
All right. You know what? Right there, if you get nothing else from this episode, right there is value, my friend. That's what's going to take you.
Yeah. When the power goes out and there's a rush on the grocery store, head for the potatoes.
Head for the potatoes.
They like sandy soil. Just saying.
Just saying? All I know is Ireland, there was some kind of thing.
Yeah, there was a blight.
A blight.
There was a potato famine.
But if you get to the grocery store first, that's what you want to do.
Yep.
Now, another thing, you're going to be tempted. Actually, I wouldn't be, but somebody might be tempted to wash their vegetables before they put them in the root cellar. You basically want to kick the dirt off, and that's about it.
Right.
Let them, store the way they are, natural kind of thing.
Right.
Just brush off the big stuff and throw it, in the pile, because you don't want to get them clean or they'll actually end up rotting faster. So,
right. Now, also,
secret of the pros.
When you're storing your produce,
yes,
when you're picking which ones you're going to store and which ones you want to treat them gently. You want to be kind to your vegetables. Any little bruise is going to become rot. Any little nick in the skin is going to become rot, and it's going to spread. So only store your pristine vegetables, fruits and vegetables.
So you just want to eat the other ones first. But I do know from firsthand experience, when I'm helping the wife out in the garden, I always toss all the vegetables. And I don't know if it actually ends bad, but I know it ends bad for me.
Right. Yes.
I know when I throw the vegetables into the bin, I get, oh my God, what are you doing? Stop.
Yeah, you're some sort of lunatic. Who does
that?
What
are you doing?
Who acts that way,
And I'm
Chuck?
like, oh shit, sorry. Gentle in the bin.
Right.
You got to take care of it, because the bruising, it really does take a toll and,
right,
add up.
And you want your produce, you want it ripe. You don't want it before. You don't want it, not quite ripe. You don't want it just after being ripe. You want to pick it just when it's just right. So.
Yeah, but if I pick it the day before, the chipmunks don't fucking eat it on me.
Ah, those bastards.
If I wait till the day it's just ripe, damn it, they're gone.
I'll tell you what, man. I've been growing strawberries.
All the tomatoes have big bites out of them,
and they don't even eat the whole thing.
You see
they go from tomato to tomato.
You see the pile of tomato skins laying there, and you're like, really, dude?
Dick. I was growing strawberries for probably 3 years, no problems. And then one day I saw one squirrel out there eating the strawberries, and he just went around and told all his friends. And after that, I've never been able to grow strawberries and get any
ever
out of
since, Kevin has been getting fat eating squirrels. But
right. Now you want to store most vegetables immediately after harvesting.
Okay.
Most vegetables. That's not all of them. We'll get back to that one.
We're a circle around.
Yeah. You're going to want to trim off the excess stem, but you're going to want to leave about an inch of stem left on your vegetables.
Okay.
The reason is any sort of little nick in the skin of the vegetable or the fruit that's going to be the weak point, and that's where it's going to start rotting quick. So you want to be very careful with it. Now let's talk real quick about curing vegetables for your root cellar.
Tell me about that.
Most vegetables can just go right in. But you can help prolong the life of your vegetables if you get them ready for storage before you put them in your root cellar. Curing vegetables helps toughen up the skin and helps make it last longer. And there's different ways for different vegetables and fruits. All right, so sweet potatoes, you should keep it in a warm, humid place for 7 to 10 days. And like I said, that's going to toughen up the skin. Onions and garlic should sit in the sun for about a week.
Really?
Before you put it in your root cellar.
Now, garlic, I'm always told, has to be in the cold, dark place. But you're saying give it a week first?
Give it a week first.
All right.
Pumpkins and squash should cure in the sun for 2 weeks also before you put them in your root cellar.
Right. I do have another tidbit that my notes I had highlighted. You want to store cabbage and turnips in a separate root cellar because they stink.
Oh, okay. It's like when you go to the bagel store and you get the everything bagel and throw it in with the plain bagels.
And they're all
and
contaminated.
They all taste like...
Exactly.
They all are stinky.
Another thing, like we talked about fruit, apples and pears we had mentioned. They should be wrapped in paper. Mm-hmm. And this will actually slow the release of the ethylene gas. Mm-hmm. Basically as it's kind of rotting or, spoiling. But that can also cause other fruit and other vegetables to rot.
Right.
And spoil quicker. So just something to keep in mind, little,
Yeah. Now, you know how when you go to the grocery store, they have those little misters where they spray that mist on the vegetables in the produce section? Not a fantastic idea. It actually makes them go bad faster. They just look fresher.
Oh, secret of the pros.
So
right
you want to keep them dry.
Now, there is one thing that I learned from Axl Rose.
Okay.
Back in the
Just
day.
one thing.
Just one thing.
He taught me all sorts of stuff.
All kinds of stuff. That it turns out you want to inspect your stuff daily. Mm-hmm. Kind of go through, move stuff around, look what's going on.
Right.
One, make sure no bad critters or anything are getting in there. But also, if anything looks like it's starting to spoil or rot, you want to get it the hell out. Because one apple can spoil the whole damn bunch.
That's right. Fucking Axl
Nailed
Rose.
it. Now that's a thing, though.
And that's true. Though.
You see that at home, like you have the fruit sitting on the counter, and as soon as one goes bad, it's just like they all spread and it contaminates.
Right.
You got to kind of be paying attention.
Yeah. You got to eat
on top of stuff.
If you're doing the root cellar right, you're eating almost rotting vegetables all the time because you want to be taking those ones out first. And you don't want your vegetables and your fruits touching each other. Not vegetables and fruits, but I mean every individual piece of food should have a little bit of space.
That's why those nice wood shelves you made. Mm-hmm. Now, in a perfect world, I know people do what they do and whatever. You don't want to use pressure treated. Mm-hmm. You want to use nice wood that you can,
Right.
But, whatever.
Cedar's good for that.
Now,
it's a little bit expensive.
Some of you might be saying, well, you know what? They don't use arsenic to treat pressure-treated wood anymore. That's a thing of the past. Mm-hmm. And you might tell me about how it's salt water, brined, and this and that. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Don't use treated.
Yeah.
And you'll thank me later. Mm-hmm. Well, unless your people that you're feeding are really annoying, then maybe you'll thank me.
A little bit of cancer is not bad.
No. And I mean, olden days, that's what I just read this thing about Australians are now starting to die of cancer, and they're like, oh, this is really bad. And they were like, no, it was because they were never living long enough.
Never living long enough to get cancer?
To get cancer.
Yeah. Now, I did get an email from
an Australian?
An Australian that said we don't spend enough time making fun of Australians.
Well, I'm willing to step up our game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna next week I'm gonna write up some jokes.
You're gonna have to write up some
Australians.
jokes because I don't feel like I have any.
Well, the problem is it's hard to make fun of Australians because, like, to them, cunt is a compliment. I don't even know where to go from there. That's as far as I can go. I don't even know where you go from that.
There's a reason all the sailors were excited to pull into Australia. Because the women were like, oh, here come the real men.
Ooh, burn.
Yeah, we'll get some hate mail.
That's right. I think that's good.
I was told that it's because we have manners.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, I'll tell you one thing.
I'm not sure that's something like I would brag about. I'd rather be the guy who's like, well, we still get the ladies, but we don't have any manners.
Right.
Rather than, well, yeah.
I mean, Axl Rose taught me that.
Axl Rose. It goes back. It's come full circle.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one disgusting thing I did notice about the Australian Navy is is they don't wear undershirts. You know about this?
I
They
didn't
just
know
wear
about
the
this.
wool like right on their skin.
Right, they're all in.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it.
All right, that's something to note.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I would do, but whatever.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Now, are we all caught up on our root cellars?
I think we are.
All right. Now, you said we got an email from Joe.
Yeah. Joe wanted to do another episode on American badasses. Like historical.
Badasses.
Now, I put out the call because I really felt like there was a need for it about Canadian, doing a show on Canadian badasses.
You did mention it. And you know what? I think they were so embarrassed that they didn't have any real badasses.
We had 0 responses.
That or we don't have any Canadian listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I could check our...
No, we've got plenty.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. They just, apparently they don't have anybody to talk about.
Or any balls.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I might bring up the sniper with the furthest distance shot with a confirmed kill.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's not. Apparently not. Apparently they don't like that guy. Fuck him.
Fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. We could possibly do a show about Australian badasses.
Crocodile Dundee, right?
Yeah, but I think they lost a war to birds at some point.
Is that what happened?
There's like an ostrich war that they didn't
Then they
win.
gave up their guns, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're afraid of frogs over there. Is that what I heard?
I don't know anything about that.
They have some kind of they lick frogs, or I don't know what's happening.
Are those the gay frogs they're licking? I don't.
What they're licking.
Alex Jones had something to say about it. I don't remember exactly
All right,
how
good
that
enough.
goes.
But so we might look into that. I don't know if there are any American badasses. Are there?
There's a couple left.
There are a couple.
Yeah, we
left?
haven't talked about Alvin York.
Alvin York. Nice.
Now, if you guys want to get a hold of us and tell us about your favorite badass from your country, because we've got America covered.
Yeah, we got America covered.
Right. If you want to tell us about your favorite badass from your country, now, I know we've got a lot of Chinese listeners.
Really?
Yeah, specifically 92 downloads in Beijing consistently for every episode we do, and I don't know that it has anything to do with anybody actually listening to our podcast. But it keeps our
stats up, and I like that. I feel
Right.
solid.
Right. I just feel like they're trying to figure something out, trying for us to slip up a little bit.
Yeah.
Find out about the infrastructure.
Ooh,
I'm not sure.
The infrastructure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But we're not going to do a show
Kevin
on
might
Chinese
give some
badasses.
water supply insights.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what could happen?
IP Man was legit though.
IP Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it all started. You taught Bruce Lee everything he knows.
But if you guys want to let us know about your favorite badass, email us at preppingbadass.com. preppingbadass@gmail.com. Let us know.
All right. Now, I actually want to point out, you guys know we always mention Tac Pack.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually heard from some listeners that you guys are actually purchasing it. Get that free gun cleaning mat.
Yeah,
I
now
like it.
what's the
And we
what's
get
the
some
code
cool
for
stuff
that?
through that. So what you do is when you sign up for your monthly subscription, if you put in the code BADASS,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get a free gun cleaning mat. It's pretty cool looking. And it's nice to lay your shit out. You know how those springs always shoot out of your AR-15
Right,
when you're
they're
pulling
just firing
them apart?
off, and you never find them
You
again.
undo the stock, bam, there goes the spring. And you undo the pistol grip, there goes the spring.
Mm-hmm.
You undo the barrel, spring. So these things, it matters. You want to kind of keep your shit organized. Tac Pack's there to help you out. Plus, they actually come with a lot of those supplies that you might be losing across the living room.
Right.
Could be coming in the next Tac Pack.
That's
I don't
right.
even know.
Now,
It's always a surprise. That's why I like it. Because each month, when I open it up, I'm like, what could it be? Bam! There's some springs that I just shot across the room.
the ones you're missing.
The ones I was missing.
Yeah.
The other day, I was all like, I need to get I don't even know what it was. There was some part I was dying. A muzzle brake.
Mm-hmm.
And then, sure enough, the next tack pack, there's a muzzle brake. And I'm like, nailed it. And it could be because they send all the parts to kind of get you there. And that was the one they hadn't sent me yet. I don't know. I don't know what their genius is on their end. I just know that when I need something, it usually shows up in the mailbox.
Yeah. Now I know with tack pack, I've always had a preference for certain types of knives.
They got you covered?
They always send me new things
to stretch your boundaries.
And I didn't realize that I loved a knife with a sheepfoot blade. Ooh. A sheepfoot blade is designed for cutting and not stabbing. So you don't accidentally stab yourself when you're trying to do something stupid.
Now you're looking to not stab yourself, and I'm looking to stab everything.
Well, it's not ideal for stabbing other people. Okay. So I mean, there is that. There is not great for knife fighting.
Knife fighting.
But all the other use is pretty good.
And you probably have another knife for your knife fighting.
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Got the Bowie knife.
I got a nice deer hunting knife. Came in the mail. Mm-hmm. Had, the zipper I was talking about last time, right. And a nice scraper on the back. Some kind of bone handle or something, and like handmade in Bangladesh or something.
Oh, nice. So,
finest knife that
they paid 3 cents an hour.
$13 could buy. Handmade.
Handmade.
That's right.
Beautiful.
So, I'm just saying.
Now, when you order your tack pack,
yeah,
and you enter the code badass.
Yep.
You're gonna get the gun mat, but the gun mat is gonna come separately. No. So when you get your tack pack, you're not going to get the gun mat with it. It's going to come in the mail at a different date. Maybe before, maybe after.
All right. That, and I know you guys love listening to this podcast. Maybe you want to support us on Patreon. Get some new patches.
Yep.
Not that they're different than the patches you would have already gotten if you subscribed on Patreon. But right. I'm just saying it might be new to you.
New to you if you haven't subscribed.
Speaking of awesome patches, and now that we're just talking about nonsense,
yeah,
I got a Gazelle, I don't know how you say it, but trigger.
Okay.
And it said, when you buy this, you get a swag pack. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. You're going to send me a sticker or what? Mm-hmm. I get it the other day, my new trigger, fancy, right? I'm pretty excited.
Legit?
Haven't put it in yet, but I'm excited.
All right.
Sent me a hat. I'm like, hat? Nice. And it's like nice, embroidered, the whole thing, nice. Mm-hmm. Right? Not just like a trucker foam, nonsense. It's nice. Sent me about 8 stickers, about 6 different patches. Sent me some kind of like put at the end of your zipper pull. Ooh. And all kinds of shit. I was like, what? You guys are killing it. Dude, it was like $40 in freaking swag. But you know what it is? I think it's because they knew I was a badass. Mm-hmm. And they were like, I'm going to take care of that guy.
Right.
Dude, I went before I came tonight, I went and got a deli sandwich for the old lady. Mm-hmm. So she could have dinner while I'm off here, whatever. Mm-hmm. I go, I have him make it. Guy hands it to me. He's like, brother, this one's a beast. I really put it together for you. It's going to work out great. And I'm thinking it's the beard.
It's got to be the beard.
Like, you know what? I got to take care of this guy.
Somebody actually stopped me yesterday.
I was like,
just to tell me that my beard was fantastic.
Dude, you look like G.I. fucking Joe.
Uh-huh. Now, he had a legit mustache, like a Magnum P.I. mustache. Nice. So, I mean, skill recognizes skill.
That I hear you. Now, I feel like some people tell me, once you start talking about the ads and stuff at the end, they cut it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you would turn it away from this gold. This is sheer gold right
you should have turned this off about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, more like 6.
How far are we into the show?
We're far enough.
Yeah, you should have turned it off about 40 minutes ago.
Just the intro. Once you get past the intro music, you've gone
the rest
too
is
far.
Trash.
All right. So with that, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass Podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.